Good evening. Hello everyone. Pop your hands up. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to picture yourself in a large open field. I am on a mission this year. It is the year of the rise 2022. Oh my gosh. Everyone can feel the magic. Every one of us is going to rise. It's going to be beautiful. This is your time. If you feel like you haven't risen quite yet, do not fear. The rise is here and you will be part of this beautiful journey. If you don't know what I'm going on about, I will explain, don't worry, and we will get there. My name is Katie Helliwell. For those of you that do not know who I am, welcome, welcome. I'm a psychic medium, also a spiritual mentor. I help people with their businesses, receive guidance and spiritual practices to become rich in every aspect of their life. I also help individuals develop their gifts, accept who they are spiritually, and help bring them to service like a beautiful flower coming out in spring. So that is what I do. I also do private readings as well and some live events. So I've fully embraced who I actually am as a spiritual leader. And this is the year for the rise. This is it now, guys. It's going to be the best year ever. Now, the year for the rise is where all spiritual souls that are gifted will have the opportunity to be shone on and have their light shine beautifully. And I have done a little challenge with one of my clients, one of my business clients who's very well established, very well known, beautiful young lady. And we are doing lives together. So she's doing one live in her business for 33 days. And I said to her, don't you worry, I'll do the challenge with you. And I will do the live as well. Oh, thank you. Mr. H has just bought me a cup of tea. Isn't he a gem? Thank you, babe. So I'll do it with her. So we've got day 1, Talk Spirit to Me, and this is day 1 of 33. Now, there's going to be no set time for these lives, guys. I do a lot of readings. I have a lot of clients, so it's going to be when I can get on here, okay? But I will be here at some point. Do not worry. Hello, Karina. Hello, Katie. Hello, Catherine. Hello, my darlings. Thank you for joining me. But please, can I ask you to help me with this rise? Help me be more visually seen on a grander level, because the more that this message gets out there to the right people and the more people join in this rise, the more beautiful the world's going to be, but the more spirituality will be given such a positive name and seen for the beautiful light it is. And we can activate more and more people that are quite maybe not living where they should be in their soulful, joyful experience, or maybe there's things that they need to embrace and change in their lives. And it will just give them that confidence and that assurity and the skills and everything they need to step forward. So please, if it feels relevant to you and you feel that your audience would enjoy this, or there's someone that you feel would need to listen to what I'm going to say, you might want to wait to the end of the live to see if it's worth it. I don't mind. Just tag them in, please, or share it to the pages that you feel it would be relevant to. If you can, let me know that you've shared it and just pop shared next to your name. That would be amazing in the comments. Let me know. And I will be giving away some prizes and I will be running some competitions over the 33 days. There was 33 people then. Over the 33 days, so you could be in with a chance to win some cash and also a reading. So there's plenty of opportunities and prizes that will be said to you at some point, so do not worry. So all your names will be noted and the team will be taking a note of them. So please do that if it feels right for you. But anyway, on with tonight. So welcome, welcome. I'm going to take you through a journey because I get asked all the time, especially by people who don't even know who I am. Not everyone does. Why would you? How I got to where I am, how I have helped so many people, and how I get people to shift and transition and really understand who they actually are at soul level and what it is that spirituality can do for them. So I kind of want to demystify it all. Now, you'll notice that I'm probably not very much like your other mediums. You know, I do feel that there is a stigma attached to certain types of spiritual souls and mediums, that they should be sat meditating under a tree, banging a drum with no shoes on and in hippie style clothing. And you'll notice that I'm very different to that. You know, I do sit under trees, I don't bang a drum, but you know, I do love nature and I do spend most of my time barefoot, but with a lovely pedicure. But I am very much trying to normalize spirituality because I am just a normal person. And for a long time, those sorts of visions were my only role models. So I didn't feel that that was something I could step into because it didn't feel like me, that vision. So I did hold back for many, many years for that reason. But let me start at the beginning, because I'm going to take you on a journey on how I've got here, how I've become a person that used to be terrified of spirit, wishing that my gift would go away, feeling like it was a ball and chain around my neck, to here on a live stream, telling the world, podcasts, being in interviews, being in newspapers, attracting a massive global audience, and going from zero income, really zero confidence with a lot of things, and escalating up to multiple six figures. And I've just had the highest month income wise, and also transition wise and impact wise for my clients, myself, and in the wealthy form as well. So I want to help more people access this and really eradicate the stigma that we should all be giving everything out for free in life, not just in spirituality as well, in everything. And there's got to be a certain type of person that can share their work, and you have to be at a certain level before you can fully rise. I want to literally eradicate all that and show how every individual has every potential within them, and everyone can access spirituality. So I really hope you help me on this mission, and I really hope that you give me some support and love. Anyway, back to the beginning. Right, so how did I first discover? This is the first thing everyone asks me in a podcast or a radio interview. How did you realise you had a gift? When did you realise? Now, it was when I was 3 that my parents realised. I didn't know at 3. But we lived in a beautiful, beautiful house that my parents still live in now. And it's very much, it's like a grade 2 listed building. So everything's really old and you have to get permission to get like windows done and things in there. And then plus any builder that ever comes around, my mom's like, they never want to touch our house because they can never get the right wood and the right parts and all this. Anyway, it's a beautiful house, but it was old, and it still is very old. And when they moved in, my parents brought it at auction, and they said that when they brought it, they felt almost as if there was something in the house. They couldn't quite really describe what it was, but it was an empty house and the person had passed away. They lived in it, but they designed the house, the person that passed away. There were a couple, they designed it, they loved it. I mean, it's literally beautiful and bespoke. It's so nice. And there was never a house like it anywhere else. Now, the people, when it was sold at auction, the only thing left in the house was a book. And they've still got this book, and I've seen it many times. I keep looking at it. And in this book was photos of the house. And there were, you could tell how much they loved it because they were pressed in this beautiful case that, like ribbons tied around it, like a little photo case, but all beautiful and ribbons. And the black and white photos, gorgeous. Anyway, that was left in a cupboard. So there was a sideboard left and there was this book. Now, we moved in and I was 1 year old. And when they moved in, they had their friends run around the house to have a look, and one of them had a dog. And the dog was running around the house and went up to my bedroom and was barking profusely, would not come back down, was literally going crazy. They had to drag the dog out and take the dog away. So my mum was a bit like, oh. Now, I do believe that my mum has a gift. She still to this day will claim that she doesn't, but she does. She absolutely has a gift, but she's terrified of spirituality for a number of reasons. And she's got, you know, great reason to from what she's experienced with me. So this was the situation. I moved in when I was 1. The whole family did. And I stayed there until I left home at 21. So we're in this house and it's oldie worldy, but I don't know any different. I'm a psychic child. My parents didn't know at the time I was psychic, whatnot. And then my mum saw me talking to this person quite a lot. Well, she saw me talking to myself and she asked me who I was talking to. And apparently when she asked me, I'd say, I'm talking to the lovely lady. And she'd go, oh, that's lovely, darling. And I think, you know, we're all like, you know, guilty of this, let's be honest. But when you're a parent and when your child goes, oh, I'm just doing this, you go, oh, have a great time, darling. You think, 5 minutes, peace, great. So I think my mom was very much like, oh, she's playing lovely, I'll leave her to it. They didn't think anything of it until I used to say to them, oh, the lady says this, and I'd say information about the house, or I'd say information that I couldn't know. I'd tell her the husband's name and what the lady's full name was. And I was 3, so obviously it was a bit broken up and baby babble mixed in. And my mum's just like, she sat there and she just was like, oh my God, oh my God. And they didn't tell me this for a long time, and they kind of just brushed it under the carpet of, I must have overheard a conversation, or it was just luck. And I don't think they really wanted to think about it in a deep level, so they just kind of just let it go. And that was that. And she'll openly say this, and if you head to my YouTube, there's a video where I introduce her on here and I talk about it, and we go shopping together. It's quite a nice video actually. It's like a day in the life mixed in, and you see the house and you can see where she's actually stood at the bottom of the stairs with me. So that went on, and then Mum wanted to do some work to the house like a few years later, and I was like, oh, Lillian, the lady's name, I said, says you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that work, you should wait. You're digging up her rose garden, that's her beautiful rose garden, don't touch her rose garden. Now, my mum hadn't told me, and my dad hadn't said that they were going to do that. So my mum was just like, oh my gosh, we can't do this, we can't dig it up, oh, you know, something bad's going to happen to us. So they were very much the case of, they're not going to do it. They wouldn't do it, they wouldn't touch it. So they did wait until I was around the age of about 15 to dig up this patio area, this beautiful area with the roses, and put a beautiful patio on. And then they had like the barbecues and stuff on there. So it took her a long time to gain the courage, and she kept asking permission and then asking the spirit, Lillian, to send a sign if she wasn't allowed to do it. And she said when she didn't get a sign, she went ahead and thought Lillian had settled, fell in love with her being in the house, and that was it. So she got the green light and she did it. But all was well. My mum and dad kind of knew and had a radar on it, but didn't really know to the full extent of what this gift was and what it actually was going to do. And we're going back to the 80s, guys, where the information was still, your child was weird at that point, or imaginary friends and that kind of vibration. So they didn't really pay any attention to it, and I didn't either. I was blissfully happy, I was comfortable. I got these amazing friends that would play with me in my room, and we'd do all these, I had dolls' houses. My mum loved dolls' houses, like she loved them, and she kept buying me these doll houses. But I was a bit of a rogue, and I liked to play, and I was also a little bit of a tomboy, but I was a tomboy in a ball gown. There is such a thing, that was me. Anyway, so I'd trash these like playhouses, and I'd say they've been burgled. I'd draw all over the walls and rip the plugs out and stuff. And my mum like, I can't believe you just trashed your doll's house. But I had great fun in there because I was playing with my spirit friends. They all had like beautiful Victorian clothes, and it was always a little boy and a little girl. And I remember because the little boy had socks pulled up, and I remember thinking, oh, doesn't he look really smart? It's really nice. So I used to wear my ball gowns because I thought they looked smart. I wanted to look smart. And it got to the point where Mum take me to Tammy Girl. Does anyone remember Tammy Girl? And I used to be looking in Tammy Girl for clothes like my friends. And I'd be like, oh, I'll go into Tammy Girl and I'll get my clothes. And then there was no Victorian clothes in there because obviously at that point it was all Illuminous, rah-rah, skirty type thing. So there was all these lovely clothes, but there weren't anything like my spirit friends would wear. And then life was blissful. And I got to around the age of 7 or 8. And I remember saying to, I think it was my mum, I remember saying, oh, so my spirit friend has done this. And she said, oh yeah. And she went to look. And I said, no, he's not sat there. He's sat there. And then when I realised that she couldn't see where he was actually sat, I realised she'd been fobbing me off all this time and saying she could see them, but she couldn't. And the panic, like I literally remember my heart sinking. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Why can't she see them? Why can't she see them? And I was like, Dad, where's my friend now? I think his name was Tom. I'm trying to remember his name. I think it was Tom. And I was like, where's Tom now? Where is he? And my dad was looking around and he was like, oh, he's and I was like, oh, great, okay. And I just remember bursting into tears and saying, why can't you see my friends? Why can't you see where they are? Why am I different? And it just got worse from that point, because nobody ever wants to feel different, do they? We all go through life wanting to feel understood. Hello, newbies. Hi, Chloe. Hello, Emma. So we all want to feel understood, and we all want to feel like we belong and that we understand. And it's just like no one wants to go through that feeling. So especially as a child, and I think that left a major imprint on me. I always wanted to blend in. I always wanted to be welcomed, and I always wanted to be accepted by people. So that's why my friends mean so much to me. And being accepted means a lot to me, which is why the first 2 years of my business, I didn't do anything like this. I didn't do any public live streams, wouldn't dare do live readings or anything like that, because I wanted to be accepted. And I was so worried that somebody would say, oh, I hate spirituality, it's a load of rubbish, it's nonsense, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd literally be just panic stricken. So that all deems back to that acceptance. And there's so many of my psychic students now that go through exactly the same thing, that still, you know, for personal reasons as well, they want to keep their gift to themselves because it's too scary to be able to go, this is what I can do, and then somebody mocks something that means so much to you or is a huge part of you and part of your soul. You still want to be one of the crowd, you still want to belong. It's just maybe it's just a human thing. It's just a human thing. You want to belong, you want to be part of the crowd. So I just kind of went on a bit of a downward spiral and unlocked a whole host of spirituality. So my friend stopped visiting, which was really sad. And I went to a convent Catholic school. Well, my primary school was just a Catholic school. And we went to mass every week. And so all my family, I come from an Irish Catholic background family. Now, they're not heavily into the church, my family, but my granddad used to go weekly, which was always nice. And if we ever went on holiday, we'd always go to mass on a Sunday, me and my dad. And I loved it. Even though it was in a foreign language, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. And I used to really look forward to it on holiday. You know, most kids like to look forward to going to the beach and stuff. I looked forward to going to mass in a foreign language. Clearly not normal. Sorry, my tea. So that's what, so basically after that point, I got the only safety I ever felt, and the only area where I felt like spirit couldn't get me was, or access me, or those friends couldn't reappear, was in church. Because it's almost like I felt like I was protected by a divine source. But here's the weird thing about it all though, because even though that was the case, I don't know if anyone ever listens in church. Like even as a kid I listened, and I listened in church, and they were saying things like, you will be ghosts and spirits and is the devil and all of this. So even though I thought I was going to be possessed and I was terrified, I still felt really, really safe in the church. How bizarre is that? Like, does anyone else have that? I like really, really bizarre. I was like, okay, I feel safe in this church. This is a bit odd. That's where we were at. And I felt safe in the church. And I used to get pocket money. And when I had my pocket money outside the church that I used to go to every week with my granddad, and I'd sit there and I'd soak it in, and I'd feel really, really safe. And I'd feel like, oh, they're all looking after me. I'm all right here. No one can get me. And I literally go outside of the church, and there was a little hut, like a little brown hut, a shed, so to speak. And they'd sell holy water and crucifixes and prayer cards and everything. And I would literally, the minute mass was over, I'd be like, right, can we go to the shop? Can we go to the shop? Can we go to the shop? Which still hasn't changed. I still go to the shops constantly. But can we go to the shop? Can we go to the shop? And they were like, yeah, of course. Anyway, I kept going out and buying loads of crucifixes and all these little jars of holy water and cards and all sorts of stuff and prayer cards. And my mum actually was saying to my dad, because my mum never came with us, she's not a fan of churches, and she said, will you stop letting her come home, to my dad and my granddad, stop letting her come home with all this stuff, this spiritual stuff, it's really weird, like we've got statues galore. And she said, I'm cleaning her room, I feel like they're all watching me. And I could see my mum's point. It was like I'd had a holy shrine all around the bedroom. It was really odd. But that's how I slept. That was the only way I knew that I was protected. And even then I wasn't protected. Spirit were coming through all the time. So the minute I knew, so just to be clear on here for you all, in case anyone's got a psychic child, in case anyone's experiencing this, this is where spirituality as children scares the bejesus out of you and stops you looking into it as an adult and places all these fears, is because as a child, when you've got no understanding and no one wants to say anything scary when you're a child, because, or explain anything that might not be visually able to be seen, or even put things in your mind that you might not be experiencing. It's a really hard subject to talk on for children. It's like your fears become real. This is where you learn your fears at this point, because you don't know what to do. Like, what do you do for your kids? Do you tell them what they can see is safe and okay when you're not really sure yourself it is? And then the child's psychic realizes that the child's different, and my little friends had disappeared. They're gone, they were long gone, and all I was left with was this door. It was like they left. I don't know whether they were, in hindsight, they might have been protecting me in hindsight. When I think about it right now in this second, they might have been. But the minute they're gone, those doors were open. All of a sudden, all these spirits are in, and they were just literally around me. So I had no control over it. They were there day, night. I didn't sleep. It was awful. I did have a Walkman. Who remembers Walkmans? Do you remember Walkmans? And I was so grateful for my Walkman. And I was going through a Kylie and Jason phase. Kylie Minogue, Jason Donovan, for those of you that are young. And I was literally just listening to Kylie and Jason over and over again, full pelt. I'm surprised I haven't got something seriously wrong with my ears at this point now, because it was so loud. And I'd sit there in the bed with all my holy water, throw it all over myself in bed, and then sit there with Kylie and Jason on so I couldn't hear spirit. And I'd be like this with my eyes, like this. Don't come near me, please, no. And pray every night. But sure enough, I'd fall asleep and then they'd wake me up. And Kylie Minogue and Jason had stopped singing because the tape had ended. And that was it. So, and often my mum and dad used to take the headphones off me because back then there wasn't wireless. So all of the wire, my mum was scared I'd kill myself in the night with it, that it would strangle around. So she would be like, okay, we need to make sure that we take your headphones off. And she used to tell me off and say, please don't put your headphones on, please don't do it. And I was like, I have to, I can hear them, And she was like, darling, you're not hearing anything, it's all in your head. Like, and when I think back now, and I've had this conversation with her quite openly, and she said, but what was I supposed to say to you? Like, I couldn't say, oh yeah, there probably is 50 spirits all around your bed. She says, you never would have slept again, you're already sleep deprived. And I think part of it, my mum knew that was my gift, and then she may have thought that the sleep deprivation was causing maybe mini hallucinations or what have you. Let me just have a sip of tea, hang on. Did you hear that then? Did you get the full slurp? So I think she thought that that was the case, that, yeah, maybe she's having these things, these mini hallucinations, which maybe I was a little bit. Maybe it was worsened by the lack of sleep, who knows? But I definitely, obviously, was gifted and activated. So that was my life for a long, long time, for a very long time, for years and years and years. And my parents got so used to me jumping in their bed and sitting in the middle of their bed, and I was like this in the middle, like that in the middle of the night. And it was probably the only place I could really sleep because I felt safe next to my mum and dad. And I just snuggled my dad, like hugged my dad so tight, and just pray and pray. But then, you know what it's like when your babies are hugging you in bed, you get really hot, don't you? Dad's like, oh, get off, go over that side. And I go to my mum and she'd be like, my mum's not like in bed, not a hugger. So I'd hug her and she'd be like, oh gosh, get off, you know, because I can't sleep when you're doing that. And parents are busy, we've got jobs, we've got lives, we've got to do things, and we need our sleep, don't we? It's important. And I was just like, oh, I feel safe, I'm with you, don't let me go, mummy, homie, and all this kind of jazz. And she's just like, oh gosh. My brother, who isn't gifted in this way in the slightest, not in the slightest at all. Like, it's so crazy how my mum and dad have got somebody like me who's tuned and spiritual and embracing this side of me to the ultimate level, and then my brother who's very academic. So I'm probably not the brightest tool academic wise, and I know I'll hold my hand up to that, but I'm certainly not stupid, by the way, but I'm very, very not academic. My brother's exceptionally bright, very, very clever, but he's not at all spiritual. In fact, he believes in it all, but he doesn't want to embrace any part of it. So he was just like, oh, your friends have been here again, have they? And I was like, I didn't sleep well last night, it was terrible, so-and-so visited me, and excuse me, and I'd tell my brother all about it, and he'd be like, ha, yeah, funny, yeah, of course they did. And he just wanted to wind me up, but again, I was like, he doesn't accept me, he doesn't accept my gift. Oh no, my parents think it's a pain as well, no one's accepting my gift, what does this mean? So I knew that something had to change, but I didn't really know what. And like anything that is like this in your life, you end up at some point kind of accepting it. You just accept that it's part of you. and you accept that spirits are going to come at night, and you accept that you're going to feel different, and you kind of step into this new version of you. But I do think that it took away, and this is really sad, what I'm going to say, but I do think it did take away some of the fun elements of my childhood, you know, because I always felt like I had to watch my shoulders. I think that's why I'm so streetwise now and tuned in, because I always felt like I had to look over my shoulder. I had to be aware of people. I had to be aware of everything around me, because, you know, as a child, when I go out, I would just feel people's energy to the ultimate level. And it was so weird for me, and hard to comprehend, hard to understand, but also hard to absorb. It was really hard. Sorry if I'm sounding like poor me, what a tragic childhood. I also had a very lovely childhood, very loved, had a great time with my family. I was, you know, taken to the most beautiful places all over the world. We've had a great childhood in that sense, but spiritually it was really hard. It was really hard, and hard for my parents. So it wasn't great. So forgive me, Spirit, if it took me 16 years to embrace this to the point where I want to help people, I want to give back, and I want to allow people not to sit in that fearful mode, because why would you want to? Like, why, if something's that awful? So I'm asking you all now, if you've had a bad experience on something, and in hindsight it wasn't a bad experience, it was just a lack of understanding, it was a lack of control. I had no control over my gift, I had no control over what was going to happen. But if you've ever had a bad experience or something you felt was out of your control and was happening around you and to you that wasn't actually helping you, why would you want to jump on board and go, yeah, let me do more of this, this is great, I want more of it? You just wouldn't, would you? So you wouldn't want to surrender into that energy. So why would you want to embrace it? If something's not serving you, why would you want to embrace it? You just wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't want to go through that time and time again, because it's just not, it's not going to be fun, is it? Why would you want to, you know, so forgive me, spirits, it took me 16 years to get to the point where this gift works for me, and I understand what it's about, and I understand why I've got it and my purpose with it. But they didn't give me a great start, did they? Let's be honest. So, like, you know, there we go. So that's where we were at. That was the situation. My parents were sleep deprived. I was sleep deprived. My brother thought I was crazy. My grandparents were having words with me to say, are you okay? Is everything all right at school? Is there anything you want to share with us? My mum tried moving me schools. I had some brilliant friends that moved schools with me. We all went, one went, they all went. So we moved schools together, because mum thought there must be something else going on, that she's up all night, but there wasn't. I had some great friends at school. I was doing really well, wasn't struggling. And the new school, I made more new friends along with my golden oldie friends. We had a great time. It was all good. So there wasn't any issue there. The issue was I had a psychic gift and no one was embracing it. No one knew what to do with it. And that was the problem. That was the situation. That was the drama. And it was like, okay, that's the drama. Right, let's see what we can do. So my mum finally asked our vicar next door if he would come round and have a chat with me. So my mum went round. She was at a wit's end. And she said to him, he was a lovely man. His daughter was one of my best friends. We had a great time. We were always playing, building dens. And then we used to call for the neighbour down the road. Like, we got all the road together. It was great. Anyway, so he was a vicar next door. And my mum said, please, can you do something? Just speak with her. She's not sleeping. It's getting really bad. We don't know what to do with her. It's been like it for years. I keep telling her that it's not real what she's experiencing. All of this kind of stuff. And as she's telling me all this, I've got my Irish Nan on my dad's side, who's amazing, phoning me up, going in her thick Irish accent that I'm going to try and do an impression of now for you all. Just bear with me. But she go, hello, how are you today? You've got the gift, you have, child. You've got the gift. And she used to say it all the time to me, all the time. So it's definitely come down from her. And I was like, yes, Nan, hi, yeah, got the gift, yeah. And I used to go, no, I haven't, Nan. No, there's nothing special about me. She's like, oh, yes, you do. You have the gift. You can see it in you. It's strong in you. You will change lives. You'll go on to do something amazing one day. You will be a light to the world. And she used to say all this to me. You'll be the light to the world. You are going to go and change the world. You're going to do this, that, the other. It's fierce in you. It's shining through you. It's powerful in you. And I was like, yeah, thanks, Nan, you got a biscuit. Next time I come round, can I have a biscuit? I was a bit of a fat child. So that was kind of where we were at with it. So that was my Nan. Everyone else telling me it's kind of like over exaggerated. No one knew what to do. It was all just chaos behind the scenes. No one was sleeping. No one was happy. It was just a nightmare. So the vicar, bless him, come round, and obviously he knew me. I was in his house most days anyway, running around building dens and driving him insane. I once actually, at the back of his house, I can't believe I ever did this, but let me tell you what I did. At the back of his house, he got this beautiful patio that was about, I don't even know, in diameters, meters. It was probably about, let me think about Mr. H, he's 6 foot, so probably 2 of Mr. H, so 12 foot out, and then width-wise, massive, like huge. And there was a door from the back of the house that led from the living room that used to come out. All the house has been changed now, they moved. But anyway, there was a door that came out and it could go onto the patio. So in the summer, because he wanted to raise money for the church roof, I said to him, don't you worry, I'm going to put a show on for you. We're going to make this amazing for you. Little entrepreneur Katie, back then, didn't even know. So me and my friend, she made these flyers on a typewriter. This is how long ago it was. She made these flyers on a typewriter. I did an agenda. We wrote the whole, I went around knocking the doors of everyone in the road, asked what their talents were, what they could bring to the table. That's exactly what I said to them. I was 8. What can we bring to the table? I found a cook who made cakes. I found somebody who sponsored the event. I had somebody that was doing drinks. We got someone in for food. Like literally, he hadn't even agreed to this poor vicar. And there was just tables all going down his garden. We set the event. I think I even had music on. There was some kind of music playing. Everyone came. Everyone in the road came. And I said to Mum, I'm putting a show on next door. Can you come and watch me? And she was always going on about, yeah, we'll come and watch it. And my poor mum and dad, I mean, they've had to put up with a lot. So I was like, I'm putting on a show next door. Me and my friend are. She's like, okay. I said, here's your leaflet. Here's your invite. This will get you 1 entry. She's like, okay. So she turned up, and she'll tell you the story herself. She walked in to this patio area in their back garden, and she said the whole neighbourhood were there. Everyone. And I was like, take a seat, Mum. I've saved you a seat on the front row. She sat on the front row, and my dad's like, oh God, this is embarrassing. What is she going to do? Bearing in mind, I was doing ballet at the time, but I was a chubber. So I was hardly a prima ballerina. It was more like, thank God it was concrete I was jumping on, because it would have broke your floorboards. And also, I was playing my flute. Now, I'm a chronic asthmatic back then. So it was... like that was the extent of the flute ability. So that was the plan. I was going to do my ballet and play my flute for the whole neighbourhood to raise money for his church roof. I did it. And my neighbour, I think she did a dance, and she was really good at the recorder. Did she play the recorder and the piano? So we had to open the door of the patio door because the piano was in the room, and she was playing the piano. She was actually really good. So it wasn't all bad. And then I had a slice of cake while I was watching her, and I wasn't on stage. That was it. So my mum couldn't believe it. I did all this. So the vicar knew me well. So he was kind of, I thought he'd be surprised to hear this side of me, but he wasn't at all. He said he knew, which was interesting in itself. Anyway, so he came round and he said, look, I'll speak with her. He said, but I can't tell her that it's not real, because what she's experienced is psychic development, and I strongly advise you go and get her some support, and you speak to a medium, or you go to some kind of spiritualist church, which we didn't even know existed then, to get some guidance and get some support on what to do with her to help her move forward with it, because obviously it's really affecting her life and we need to do something with it. And then that was it. And he said, I will bless the house. I'll come in and I'll form a blessing all over the house and cleanse. But then that's the extent of what I can do for you. And I certainly will speak to her. So he did. He came round to the house for this cleansing. And my brother, being the lovely bundle of smiles and joy and support that he is, even to this day, who still picks on me, he was playing his Wi-Fi's back then. He had a massive Wi-Fi with big boom box system. and he started playing dong, 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 dong. He had garlic around his neck. He was holding one of my crucifixes. He was absolutely on full humour form. So, of course, I'm like, no, he's picking on me, and the priest is coming round, or the vicar's coming round. The vicar's coming down the drive, and this is blaring. He's got all the windows open, and he walked in, and luckily he knew my brother as well, and he just went, you need to leave, you need to leave, you need to go out. So he kicked my brother out and said, you know, very funny, you need to leave now. So he kicked my brother out, and the cleansing of the house started. It all started, and it was just, yeah, interesting. I remember listening to him chanting, listening to what he was saying, and feeling very, again, terrified for my life. Hello Moira, hello Gemma, hello everyone. And then that was it. I'm going to leave it there for tonight, but that was basically where we were at. So he cleansed the house, and then I'll tell you the rest on part 2. I haven't gone on too much. I'm trying to keep it down a little bit, but I have gone on for like 40 minutes, so I'm so sorry everyone. But there's a lot to this, and I do feel that we all need to share our experiences here, and I think it will help you understand spirituality and help you maybe understand if you've got a psychic child, and also if you recognise anything similar for yourself along with the journey. But I hope you enjoy this. Please stay with me for the 33 days. Help me rise, spirit up. Let's all rise to the next level ourselves. Spirit can be there for every single one of you, and I will explain that over the 33 days how. It's amazing, it's really good, and it's applicable to all of you. But I love you all so much. Thank you for spending your time here this evening. I hope that you found something inspirational in all of this. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Big kisses and big loves.